The ocean does not give up its dead easily. It swallows bones. It dissolves bodies. It erases almost everything that ever lived within it, leaving behind nothing but silence and cold water. But sometimes it leaves teeth. Teeth the size of a human hand, serrated, dense as stone. So perfectly designed for destruction, they have survived 3.5 million years on the seafloor. For centuries, those who found these objects didn't know what to make of them. Some thought they were dragon tongues. Others said they fell from the sky during lunar eclipses. No one guessed the truth. It wasn't until the 17th century that science recognized the truth. These were teeth. From a shark so enormous, no living human has ever seen one, gone long before our species walked the earth. Let us begin with what we actually know, because popular culture has buried this animal under myths deep enough to obscure the real and far more extraordinary creature underneath. Based on biomechanical modeling and fossil evidence, Megalodon had a broader, more heavily built body, a wider jaw, a thicker midsection, shaped by millions of years of hunting very large prey. What we have, primarily, are teeth, thousands of them recovered from ocean floors on every continent. We also have vertebral fragments and whale bones bearing unmistakable bite marks. Size estimates have shifted across decades of research. Current scientific consensus places Megalodon between 15 and 20 meters in length, with some individuals possibly exceeding that. For scale, the largest accurately measured great white shark on record is approximately 6 meters. Megalodon, at minimum, was more than twice that length, possibly 3 times. It was, by every available measure, the largest predatory fish that has ever existed on this planet. And, for millions of years, it was virtually unchallenged at the top of the ocean food web. To understand Megalodon, you must first understand the world that built it. We are going back 23 to 3.6 million years, the Miocene epoch, and into the early Pliocene. This is an ocean almost unrecognizable from the one we know today. The climate is warmer, polar ice caps are smaller, sea levels are higher, and critically, the ocean is full of large prey. The Miocene is the age of whale diversification. Baleen whales are spreading across every ocean basin. Early sperm whales are present. Ancient seal lineages, early sea cows, an extraordinary variety of large marine prey. This was the ecological foundation of Megalodon's dominance. It did not evolve in an empty ocean. It evolved alongside this explosion of large-bodied, energy-rich prey and scaled itself accordingly. Fossil nursery sites have been found in Maryland, Panama, and the Canary Islands, once warm, shallow coastal waters where juvenile Megalodon teeth concentrate. The young grew here before moving into open sea. The Miocene Ocean was, in a very real sense, built for Megalodon. Warm water, abundant large prey, protected nursery zones, and virtually no serious competition at the very top of the food web. Then, the planet changed. Megalodon's jaw has been estimated at approximately 2 to 3 meters wide when fully open, large enough to engulf a small vehicle. Its teeth came in multiple rotating rows. Bite force estimates range between 100,000 and 180,000 newtons, making it among the most powerful bites of any animal, living or extinct. The force is almost incomprehensible. Megalodon's hunting strategy, inferred from bite mark analysis, appears to have been deliberately targeted. Evidence suggests it attacked flippers and flukes first, immobilizing prey before delivering fatal bites. Some researchers propose Megalodon was regionally endothermic, able to maintain a body temperature above surrounding water, like modern great white and mako sharks. Speed, reaction time, and thermal range. But endothermy comes with a severe cost, a dramatically elevated metabolic rate. An animal at this scale needs enormous quantities of food simply to survive. Estimates suggest thousands of kilograms per week. This is not a creature that could endure food scarcity. And food scarcity was exactly what was coming, driven by forces operating at the scale of the entire planet. Extinction rarely happens in a single moment. It happens in increments. A degree of cooling here, a prey species that migrates there. Each failure small enough to miss, until the moment you cannot miss them. The mechanism was the closing of the Central American Seaway. For tens of millions of years, a shallow passage connected the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through what is now Central America. Between approximately 4 and 3 million years ago, tectonic movement closed this passage permanently. The effect on global ocean circulation was profound and irreversible. The thermohaline conveyor reorganized. The warm, shallow coastal waters Megalodon depended on for both hunting and nursery habitation began to cool and contract. The large-bodied warm water whales it had hunted for millions of years began to shift distribution. Megalodon could not simply follow them into cold water. Moving into colder, deeper environments to pursue prey would have dramatically increased its already enormous metabolic demands. This is the trap. An endothermic predator of this scale, in cooling and shrinking habitat, with prey migrating beyond its physiological range, caught between what it needs and what the world now offers. A second factor entered at the same moment, one still debated among researchers. As Megalodon's world contracted, new predators were filling the ecological space it was losing. Competition had arrived. The relationship between Megalodon and the great white shark has been intensely studied. Isotopic analysis of fossil teeth suggests the two species may have primarily occupied different niches, not direct, constant competitors. But as Megalodon's range contracted and niche overlap grew, the great white's advantages became critical. Lower caloric requirements, tolerance for cold water, access to a broader range of prey. Competition alone did not cause Megalodon's extinction. The evidence does not support that. But at the margins, when every caloric advantage mattered, it almost certainly accelerated an already deteriorating situation. The final and perhaps most decisive blow was the loss of nursery habitat. Juvenile Megalodon teeth appear almost exclusively in warm, shallow coastal waters. Those waters were disappearing. When a species loses its nursery grounds, the consequences are generational. Adults may persist for decades under suboptimal conditions, but if juvenile survival collapses, the population ages and thins. There is no recovery. The fossil record shows Megalodon's last confidently dated teeth at approximately 3.6 million years ago. Some researchers propose evidence for populations persisting to 2.6 million years ago. The debate continues. By the beginning of the Pleistocene, the fossil record goes silent. The ocean's greatest predator was gone. Not in a catastrophe, not in a collision, in a slow thinning, until there was nothing left. Here is where we have to be careful, because when a creature this large disappears, certain questions become irresistible and certain answers become dangerous if presented without evidence. Could Megalodon still be alive somewhere? In the deep ocean? In some unexplored trench? This theory has generated enormous popular interest. Scientists have also addressed it repeatedly and clearly. Megalodon was a shallow to mid-water predator. Its nursery sites, its bite-marked prey, its entire fossil context places the animal in warm, accessible coastal and pelagic environments, not the cold, lightless deep. Furthermore, we would know modern sonar, satellite tagging of prey species, and continuous deep-sea monitoring have produced no credible evidence, no anomalous contact, no predation signs consistent with a surviving megalodon. The absence of evidence, in this case, is itself evidence. Megalodon is extinct. The scientific community is not seriously debating this. What they debate is timeline, body plan, and cause, questions far more interesting. There is another question worth sitting with, one that does not get asked enough. Why didn't Megalodon adapt? Evolution is not a guarantee. It is a process that requires variation, time, and population size. Megalodon's decline appears to have been rapid enough, ecologically speaking, that adaptive evolution could not keep pace. A large, slow-reproducing apex predator with low population density cannot evolve quickly. Compare this to the great white shark. Smaller, generalist, cold-tolerant, broader prey range, potentially higher reproductive turnover. Evolution in this context did not favor the largest. It favored the most flexible. Extreme specialization is an advantage during stable conditions and a liability when conditions change. Megalodon had optimized itself so completely for a specific world that when that world disappeared, there was no fallback. Consider what the ocean lost. Megalodon was not merely a predator, it was a regulatory force, exerting direct control on the population dynamics of large whales across entire ocean basins. This is what ecologists call a trophic cascade, the ripple effect that moves through an entire food web when a top predator is removed. We see it today when wolf populations are removed from terrestrial ecosystems. We cannot fully model what Megalodon's disappearance meant for Pliocene ocean ecosystems. The fossil record does not give us that resolution, but we know the principle is real, and the scale of the animal makes the impact enormous. Its loss was not just the loss of an animal, it was the loss of an ecological function, a role that, in some diminished form, fell to the predators that remained of calm. The ocean restructured around an absence. The ocean we inherited, the one we sail on, dive into, and increasingly deplete, is partly defined by Megalodon's absence. The world we know is the world that formed after the greatest predator left. We live in the world that Megalodon left behind, and that is not a comforting thought. It is a clarifying one. Absence has shape. What is missing from an ecosystem is as important as what remains. Every few months, along the coastlines of North Carolina, South Australia, or the Canary Islands, a tooth washes up on a beach. Dense, dark, sharp enough, still to cut. Sense, a grouse. End quote. Carried by ocean currents across geological time. Megalodon did not know it was going extinct. No species does. There was no final hunt, no last breath, no moment of reckoning, only a slow thinning, a world that kept changing faster than an animal could respond. Probably alone, probably in water that was too cold, hunting prey that had grown too scarce, without knowing it was the last, without knowing there had ever been a first. That is the nature of extinction. Scientists who study Megalodon are not chasing a monster. They are trying to understand an ecological event, how the ocean lost something irreplaceable, and what it became in the aftermath of that loss. That question is not only historical. Right now, large shark populations globally are declining at rates that would have been unimaginable a century ago. Overfishing, climate shifts, prey collapse. The ocean's current apex predators, great white sharks, tiger sharks, oceanic whitetips, face pressures from overfishing, climate-driven habitat shifts, and prey collapse that carry uncomfortable echoes of what we have just described. We do not need to wait for the fossils. We are watching the ocean change in real time. The same cascading pressures, habitat contraction, prey decline, thermal shifts are operating right now. The question Megalodon leaves us with, written in every tooth that washes ashore, is whether we are paying attention not to the monster, to the pattern, to what the ocean is telling us. Megalodon left its mark in the teeth that still wash ashore, in the ecological structure of the ocean we inherited, and in the clarity of a lesson we can choose to hear or choose to ignore. This is the story of one species, one chapter in an ocean that has been writing itself for over 3 billion years. Megalodon is gone, but the ocean continues, and so does its lesson. If you found this documentary worth your time, subscribing helps this channel continue doing exactly this kind of work. Slow, careful, evidence-based storytelling about the world that was and the world that is.